This week, as earnings reports started filing in, the already weak standing of U.S. retailers seems to have been undermined even further. A disappointing Christmas season, coupled with another round of increased gains by online retailers, have left the sector frantically looking to find a way into its future. Joining me to discuss the lay of the land is the FT's retail correspondent, Barney Jopson. Barney, let's start with Christmas. What did we learn from the 2012 holiday season?
On the whole, what we've seen is that most retailers in this country have too many shops, not enough shoppers, not enough e-commerce. There's a big mismatch between what Americans want to buy and how much they can afford to buy, and what retailers, as they're currently set up, are able to offer them. There's a big gap there, and I think the retail sector has already begun in some small ways to adjust to that, to try and give Americans what they can afford and what they want, but there's going to be a lot more change to come to correct that mismatch.
So let's talk Best Buy. They actually had a better than expected Christmas season, but it was one of the S&P's worst performers. This week we saw the expiration of Richard Schultz's attempt to take over the company. What do you see happening with Best Buy?
Well, Mr. Schultz used to be Best Buy's chairman. He founded the company, and he really brought talk of mergers and acquisitions to Best Buy and reminded us of how M&A might need to play a big role in the restructuring of the sector as a whole. He saw that his company was suffering from competition with Amazon and Apple, and he thought that taking it private, making it a private business, was the way to fix it in seclusion. Now, that's not going to happen. He couldn't pull a bid together. So Best Buy's got a new chief executive, and he's going to continue trying to improve the website of the company. He's trying to cut costs. He's actually vowed to match prices on Amazon, which is a very bold move. It's probably going to undermine their profitability, but that's a means of stopping the loss of customers to Amazon, which is a giant competitor. But more broadly, I think other businesses are still going to be looking at mergers and acquisitions because of this mismatch between what consumers want and what they're being offered. It may be only deals that can restructure retailers in a sufficiently fundamental way to make them sustainable for the longer term.
But reinvention isn't exactly an easy thing. We're a year into the JCPenney experiment, and it seems to really be on shaky ground.
That would be an understatement. JCPenney is a tired department store that brought in the former head of retailer Apple just over a year ago, a guy named Ron Johnson. He had big ideas, and people thought that he was going to bring the Apple magic touch to JCPenney. It's not working out. In the Christmas quarter, JCPenney's sales fell by over 30%, and very hard to remember when any retailer has lost quite that many sales in such a short period. Now, what was his big idea? His big idea, which he set out a year ago, was that customers don't like the volatile pricing of much of US retail. They don't like discounts one week that disappear the next week. They get confused by coupons, 20% off today, 30% off on Saturday. He said, we're going to simplify pricing, and customers will appreciate that for its fairness and its transparency. Turns out that was wrong. And he's actually announced that the company is backtracking this week. They're going to reintroduce some sales, they're going to reintroduce discounts. It turns out that customers do like the treasure hunting aspect of trying to hunt down the best deals. But that leaves a question of, if you are going to revive one of these tired retailers, how do you do it? Now, the idea behind Mr. Johnson's recruitment, as I said, was that he was going to bring the Apple touch to things. It seems that the Apple touch is not working. Some people are now drawing the conclusion that the only reason why Apple's stores have been so successful is that they've got great products. It's not to do with the design, it's not to do with the staff, it's not to do with the pricing, just Apple's good products. If that's the case, you can't really apply many lessons from Apple to the rest of retail, so it leaves the rest of the sector searching around for the next big idea.
So, as much as you can, looking at the retail sector, how do you see 2013 playing out?
I think it's going to be a year of upheaval. We're going to see more retailers closing stores as they acknowledge that they've got more shops than they need, more shops than consumers want. And I think we're also going to see a lot of personnel changes at the top of the retail industry as old managers are kicked out and new managers with new ideas come in. We've already seen the beginnings of this just in the last year or so. Management changes, of course, at JCPenney, at Best Buy, also at Staples, at Safeway, at Toys R Us, and I think we'll see more of that as companies search around for big ideas. But I think the conclusion is going to be that not all of them can survive. So we'll probably see the sector as a whole getting smaller.
Well, we'll keep watching. Thank you so much for your thoughts.
Thank you.